Good evening, everyone. So, we've had a few technical difficulties. This is something more than gibberish, and we are expecting our guest Alexander Rivera and my co host Rainier 700. So, we'll go ahead and see if we can get everyone on. If you guys can just go ahead and send a request through, and I'll go ahead and see if I can pull you up from the requests before we start messing around with the comments. Okay, there we go. Alex, if you could please send a request.
Hello.
Hello.
I do not know what was going on there, but it was the most frustrating experience. But here we are.
Hello.
And here we are, all three of us. Well, very nice to meet you, Alexander.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for having me.
Oh, pleasure. I'm looking forward to this. As I said at the start of the first attempt, this is our 13th show, and the show so that's over 3 months since Gemini and I started this show, and it's just got better and better and better. And as we mature our process as well, and the guests just keeps getting great. We've been blessed the last few weeks with colleagues of yours in Onyx and Charles Haynes, and yeah, it's just been great.
Yeah. I hope I can live up to expectations.
There are no
no
special
doubt.
expectations. You're an amazing poet. You're an amazing writer. That's all that matters.
And Gemini sent me through a short bio, and I am excited. Really am. And so tell us about your journey how you started, and I know you're doing an MFA, etc. right now, so really keen to hear how all about that side of things.
Yeah, my writing journey has been a long and interesting one, I guess. Like, I mean, like many people, when I started writing, I was more or less like, a young teenager, whatever, writing bad fan fiction stories and stuff like that. About like my favorite like TV shows, video games and stuff. And like for a while, like I got kind of like good at it, like decent at it. I wouldn't even say good. And like I even started like writing scripts for like some stuff that me and my friends did in high school. But then I kind of just stopped writing for a while, like when I went to college, because I wanted to pursue like psychology, and then eventually like philosophy, when I originally started university back in like 2009. And then after I graduated with those degrees in 2013, I just kind of like bumbled around trying to figure out exactly like what I wanted to do. I flirted with the idea of going to grad school for psychology, but I didn't really like to do the research aspect side of things. And then I thought about like going to law school for a little bit, but then I just like got rid of that idea, left immediately once it came. So that did not last very long. But I kind of like reminded myself or remembered, probably around like 2015, 2016, that I enjoyed writing stuff as a kid. So I took like some classes while I was working like full time, and I found that I really did enjoy writing, and I wanted to make potentially a career out of it. So I went back to get another degree in like English around like 2016, 2017, and still my like focus was like fiction at that time. But it wasn't until around like 2020, when I started taking some like African American literature classes and some like poetry classes, that I really like got into like poetry itself. And I started like finding the beauty of just like writing concise things that, you know, may or may not be profound depending on your perspective. And so I just felt like that was the route that I wanted to take. And so since like 2020, late 2020, 2021, I've been like just writing more and more poetry, you know, about my own experiences, about experiences I've seen in the world. I've had some amazing opportunities through my school, as well as like now just like going out into the community and like talking with people about like seeing how other people like perform their work and everything like that. So I've been like slowly just expanding my horizons by interacting with all of these people, and now being accepted into this MFA program, which just started this like past August, for poetry. I'm now just like seeing the different ways I can like elevate my art, elevate my poetry, elevate the things that I want to say. Because, you know, we all have something to say about like the world, about our own experiences. And I feel like it's important for every single one of us to get that down and get that out into the world. And so that's the kind of like stage where I'm at as far as like my writing journey goes, is like figuring it out exactly what I want to say, like what I want to put out in the world. And so I've just been trying to explore, you know, different parts of my past, my experiences, the world around me, and trying to put that down on paper. So that's where I'm currently at. So it started bad fan fiction, and now we're at poetry.
I loved quite a few things in your approach. Number one, you mentioned about talking to people and expanding your own views on your writing. That's quite credible, because quite often we can get encapsulated in our own sort of journey, and we think, yeah, this is. But it's just always so nice to hear different views, right? And that's how we grow, you know. So that's a very healthy mindset to have as well. You know, I think that's brilliant, and I love how you did explore. You didn't just say, okay, this is what I want to do and go there. Like, as you said, you even tried law, and I fully understand how that would have been pretty stale. I would have jumped out of it straight away as well.
Yeah.
I mean, law is about justice, right?
Right.
I'm driven by justice. Law, unfortunately, has nothing to do with justice. It's yeah. So I'm glad you did, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more on your variety of poetry, and it's good. You know, I was reading the little bio that Gemini sent me, and you know, you write on sort of the day-to-day issues of that within the BIPOC community, which is especially in your part of the world or in the US, pretty crazy, right? I mean, we sort of roll our eyes in surprise at some of the things we hear about what goes on there. But then you also have diversified into love and normal other trials and tribulations that we face as humans. So really looking forward to hearing more of this work, and see how we go after our, hopefully we'll have no more technical issues. And you've got a big fan club there in the comments there. We've got Charles and a lot of your colleagues there clearly looked up to, and I'd certainly love to hear your work here. Now, but before you get into that, you also perform a lot live within the Florida area, right? Within Tampa and Sarasota.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a relatively new thing for me. You know, over the past year, I've been kind of like experiencing a lot of like change and like loss in my life from people, and so like for like earlier this year, I felt the need to sort of like get out there and see what's going on in the community, because like around like March or April, I wasn't even sure if I was going to even get into this program that I'm in now. So one of the things that, you know, my therapist at the time told me was pretty much to, hey, even if you don't get in, it's not the end of the world. There are people that are still writing who are not like part of like different programs like that. So what you can do is you can sort of like get out there, see what other people are writing. And if you don't get in the program, you'll at least be able to surround yourself with a community of writers that are like going out there. So, you know, I did just that. I went to like a kava shop here down in like Ybor, Grassroots Kava, and I saw like people. Yeah, with Nathan, and I saw a bunch of people from like Grow House like performing that night too, and it was just like spectacular just to see everyone just sort of like just pouring their souls out in like 30 seconds to like 3 minutes and just like talking about like the things that matter to them. And so I remember after the whole thing was over, I approached Charles and I asked him like, what is it that you guys kind of like do around here? I'm interested in like getting into that. And so he told me a lot about like everything that's like going on. And I sort of just started inserting myself into this community since like April, May. So it's been a few months, and I didn't really like perform that much. I've really only started doing it recently, within the past like 2 to 3 months, really. And so, like, my experience as a performer, I'm still learning. I still have a lot to learn. So I'm just trying to get out there, trying to, you know, get better at performing and seeing how other people perform too, so I can also kind of just, you know, take some notes and, you know, apply that to my own sort of like practice.
But that's the thing, Alex. One of the first performances you did was at my show in Sarasota, which was Painting with Words, and like I was there like a cheerleading mom because I'm screaming while I'm recording.
I remember, yeah. I also remember you didn't let me perform 2 pieces in a row. I remember that conversation.
Are we still gonna bring it back up?
I'm just saying, like, I had 2 ready to go, but, you know, no, it's fine. It's fine.
Do tell me more about this, Alexander, because now I'm hearing about her ladyship's dictator traits here. Please do tell. So it's proceeding I'm really keen to know more about this, because she's, like I've sort of said, I've sort of suspected these dictator sort of tendencies, but
I will say there were a lot of people performing, and she needed to get to the features. So I understand where she was coming from, you know. So I was just like, all right, you know, it makes sense. I'll just do one. We can do another one later if there's time after the features kind of go up. So I get it. I get where she was coming from, and I don't hold that against you at all. No, I'm just joking.
Now you've given the Australian some ammunition, because the Australian is calling me a dictator. Australia.
I didn't know that. I didn't have the context for that. I'm sorry. Like, if I would have known, I wouldn't have said it, you know, but it's too late now. It happened.
Do not apologize. I'm glad you said it, because normally, as you know, I start the show, and now I'm in her control, because today, due to a technical difficulty, she started the show. So I just want to know. It's good
technically, I did not start the show. Technically, the show is on my page, and once everybody came up, Rainier started speaking, so Rainier started the show. So I don't want to hear it. If there's a dictatorship, you are the Duppy Conqueror. I am the surviving peasant.
I just want to know what I'm in for the rest of the couple of hours here. So, yeah, okay, now this is interesting. So thank you for that, sharing that snippet of information, Alexander. You have given...
No problem.
Yeah, so since I am the dictator, according to Rainier, Alex, do you mind sharing a piece of poetry with us, if you don't mind? I mean, I wouldn't want to like talk you into anything that you don't want to do. Now, would I?
Of course, you would never want to do that.
Of course not.
Yes. Yeah, I can find one real fast. I have a couple ready. I don't have them memorized, so I do have to read them. I'm not that good yet. At like the whole performing thing yet, so I still need to kind of read them.
No disclaimers, number one. Number two, performing is more than just memorization. There are some people that have memorized some stuff and they should have not gotten on the stage. Okay, so
That's fair.
performing is more, and I've seen you perform. So whether you read it or you have it memorized, you still perform. So please give us a performance of one of your pieces.
Okay.
Alexander, I've been writing for over 30 years and I can't even memorize a 3-line haiku, so don't feel bad, man. So
Got it.
We're not all gifted like our illustrious host here.
She's very, very good. She is amazing. She's an amazing performer, and I strive to one day, you know, be on your level. But that is not today.
That's it.
We all do. All hail Queen Gemini.
Oh my gosh, you know what? You're gonna have to call me Queen Gemini for the rest of the month, Rainier. Just for that statement. I expect it.
All right. I have no skin in this game. Good luck, Rainier. Best of luck with that. Okay, so this is one I've performed before, but it is one of my favorites, so I'll perform it now because not everyone here has probably heard it. It is called Marooned. Actually, let me take a sip real quick so I don't like choke. Okay. So this one is called Marooned. Sometimes I lose myself in the obsidian ocean floors of my mind. Weighed down by anchors of past mistakes, I sink into despair, my words bursting in bubbles before they reach your red coral ears. Then when I recall your fingertips pirouetting in my palm, I emerge from the field of green mist chrysanthemums within your eyes where heaven graced earth and where I met you. I miss the way your curls brushed against my forehead when our lips met in the middle of the air between us, wiping away days we drowned in our tears, our voices silenced by the endless sea. We'd find ourselves beached in each other's arms, sand sticking to my sunburned chest as morning washed the night away. Please, let's stay up to watch the sun together one last time.
Wow. I loved how that started off with the self and then expand, incorporate another being. So many beautiful lines there.
Thank you.
And I do love the cadence of recital as well. Sometimes the theatrics and all are all great, but sometimes if the cadence isn't right, it's hard for the listener to absorb a lot. But I was just in that journey, and when he stopped, I was like, "Oh, we need to keep going."
And that's the same feeling I got. The first line that hit me, the way your fingers pirouette in the palm of my hand, and then when we were beached together, pirouette, that speaks of a ballerina, correct?
Yeah.
And beached is when you say that a beached whale, like you're just there on the sand. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, was that one of your earlier pieces or more recent pieces?
That one was pretty recent. I wrote it a few months back. So that one is one of my more recent ones. And it was also inspired because one of the workshops that I went to with Grow House, we were asked to sort of like experiment with like different colors and utilizing them in poetry. And so that's the idea that I kind of went with this one. I wanted to like just use different colors inside different lines and like try to kind of bring that imagery to life through those colors.
Awesome. Brilliant. It's good. So you're getting that technical construct through workshops like with Grow House and also with your MFA that you've started, correct?
Yeah.
Do you find your style of writing changing a lot since you started your MFA and so forth?
Yeah. So like One of the big things that I've sort of like found, and since I've only been in this program for now like 11, 12 weeks, I haven't like really dove into a lot yet. But one of the biggest things that I've learned is two of the biggest things is one, to be more intentional with my sentences and the structures with them. Because like before, and I don't know if this is like everyone's experience, and I feel like many poets may not experience this the same way, but maybe like novelists do. Like before, when I would write, I would just like write as much as like I could, and just like try to get like words on the page. Like I was more like worried or stressed out about like making sure that I could get like words down to feel like that, sense of productivity, to feel productive. But one of the first things that we learned is to slow down. It's not about like the amount of work or how fast we can like write things, but really to like pay attention to every like word, every syllable that we write, especially in shorter pieces like flash fiction and poetry, because like every word is doing heavy lifting. So it's like to be more aware and to be more intentional about the things, about the words that I'm selecting, so that there are no like filler words, and that every word counts basically. Then the second thing I've learned, which is relatively recently, is being more sort of like cognizant about my like subject matter, about my choices. So one of the big things that I was struggling with writing, like finding things to write, is like I would sort of like find something out in the world, say like a tree that's like slanted a certain way, or like a bird that's like flying around in circles, and I would like write about it. And then like I would try to ascribe or put like my own like feelings attached to that image. And so when I was talking to one of my professors recently about it, about like this like method I was doing, she was like, don't do that. Instead, what you should try is flipping sort of like the metaphorical camera to me, and like try to figure out exactly what I'm like feeling in that moment, and then use the things around me, the like things grounded in space and time, to like tell other people what I'm feeling so that they can relate to it using concrete things. And so it's like a slight switch in stuff, but I feel like it's going to kind of like help me be more vulnerable in my poems that I write going forward. So that's like what I've been sort of like experimenting with like now. And that's what I've sort of like taken away so far. And I know there's going to be like much more that I'm going to learn about later.
Mm-hmm. Caroline put in a comment saying that your recent work sounds like Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces, that's almost a rhyming word scheme there.
Yeah, that's a poem in and of itself.
In my mind is a piece she mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And that's beautiful that your professor stopped you and gave you the idea of to do that in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Up in the center, because I do both.
Mm-hmm.
Things around me and things I see inspire me, and then emotions inspire me, or they have to come out, and then the things around me are added to it in order to give people a better understanding.
Mm-hmm.
We need to talk about your course study more. I'm interested, and I
want to be a
professor.
Oh, she's great. She's fantastic. She's actually the one. Her name is Dr. Sellers, Heather Sellers. She's the one that encouraged me to apply for the program in the first place. Yeah, she's fantastic. I love the work that she puts out there.
Wow. Okay, I'll have to look her up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is good that you are pushing yourself and trying different things out. And I do respect that. I've always deviated from structured writing, mainly because I wouldn't change to me, I write for the sake of narrating my life's experiences, or what I, as you said, looking at a tree or a butterfly flying there, and what that life lessons I get from in reflecting on that subject. And I've always refrained from deviating from changing a word for a rhyme scheme, or to be concise, if it deviates from the emotion I want to project through, from the message I'm through. But that's just me. That's why I stay away from, occasionally I write some haikus and things like that, but other than that, I stay away from structured poetry, and I freestyle because I just like to get a message across. But on the other token, it's really nice to read people who have put structure into their poetry. Yeah, and I respect that a great deal as well.
Yeah, that's something too that I and also like I've also like struggled with, is like sticking to a specific structure with certain poems. So like a lot of my poems are either like just free verse, or like I do some weird experimental thing on the page where I try to like play with the space around it. But I do want to at least maybe practice some like structured poems, just to like, I don't know, tighten up my sound work and stuff like that. Because sometimes, you know, constraints like that can really like, I don't know, help you see something that you might not have seen before, or like try something that you might not have tried before.
Yeah, I found that sometimes the rhyme scheme creates itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not, so just the same way when we speak, we don't speak the exact same way every time.
Yeah.
When you write, you have a cadence, you have something that you do that's yours. You have a voice in your writing, but even within that voice, everything doesn't sound exactly the same. So sometimes using a rhyme scheme can deepen your work. So using a rhyme scheme with metaphor, instead of saying things plainly and then trying to find a word to rhyme with it, add a metaphor and rhyming with it gives it a deeper meaning for the reader. And it challenges you to do something else with your writing other than just write words.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm keen to hear more poetry.
Yeah, I can share another one. So this one is one that I wrote probably like 2 years ago now. But it's kind of like stuck with me. Just because like, I don't know, this was like during the time where where people became a little more like critically conscious of like, you know, different things that are going on in the world and how they affected like people of color and stuff like that. And so at the time I was taking a class about bell hooks, and we were tasked with, instead of like an essay to write, we were tasked with doing something creative that kind of like speaks to sort of like the injustices or just things that are going on around in the world. So this poem is about that. It's pretty short. It's called Invisible Man, and you know, like I said, this was a few years ago, so you know, we'll see how it holds up, I guess. Okay, so down the riverwalk, on a bench that divides us, sits a man with a pile of bags and clothes stacked to his head. His black skin bakes in the sun, and mud-caked boots are hidden beneath his shadow. He's looking down while everyone looks away, but I see you sitting there, like an invisible man to many. My muscles tense beneath my mask, forming an unseen frown. My eyes squint like I'm struggling to see you too, but I know you're there, because I'm unseen too, except when I'm not. For all I have to do is walk in the wrong department store where my nappy hair is not normally seen, or walk down the wrong street in the suburban neighborhood I'm not supposed to be, wearing a hoodie and holding a can of Arizona iced tea. But I'll let you know where you can really find me. I'm among these black words, drowning on a white page.
Dang, that is fine. That
You,
was,
I could just sit back down and just reflect on that piece for hours. So much said between the lines, between each line, and some beautiful lines there as well.
the
Injustice
imagery was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very dear topic to me because I'm driven by justice, and yeah, really love that piece. And it always, when you hear pieces like that, especially from somebody young that was written a couple of years ago, it really shows, it really brings back the message where some of these injustices we face today were happening years ago,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So where have we evolved? You know, where have we grown? Where have we developed?
Mm-hmm.
One's got asked, right?
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Like these fights have been going on for decades, a century, over a couple centuries here in the United States. And it's just like, people have been fighting to like be on equal terms, to exist not only in equality, but to have like, to be like equitable. And it's been interesting as like the social conversation has shifted over the past few years, and more people, are kind of like aware of what's going on. But with that awareness, the other side is basically fighting back even harder with, with the way things are with like banning books, and trying to like silence individuals whose voices are kind of like screaming out, to like be recognized. So, there's still just a lot to be done, for all different marginalized groups and everything like that. And so that's something I also want to kind of like continue refining in my poetry as well, just to sort of like make my voice be among others who are also sort of like screaming out and like, wanting to be like recognized and validated and everything like that.
The other thing I read in that piece that I really respected was the way you get your message across.
Mm-hmm.
It comes across in a very mature, calm manner. There's no anger or passion in that, like hear a lot of this. I mean, we're fully understandable struggle. Sometimes there's a lot of anger and all that coming through, right? Your calm, sort of more controlled dialogue you use in your poetry, I think people hear it better.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
I
he
would
came out,
disagree.
started yelling, man, I've gone into anger mode. I'm just not hearing a thing he wants to say. I just want to kill him.
But that's the thing. I would disagree. I believe that each piece has its place and its time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's time for calm and for calm speaking, but anger and passion are not the same thing. Sometimes passion is mistaken for anger, like my poem Trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes passion is mistaken for anger, and of course the person who is guilty will see passion as anger. They will always put in the lens of anger. And there are angry poems because sometimes there is a reason to be angry.
Don't get me wrong. I fully understand of all people that how passion is quite often mistaken for anger, because if I got to clean my house, I do that with passion. Whatever I do with passion. And when I speak, my body language, my tonal inflections, all that raised just due to my passion, and people quite often mistake that for anger. So, geez, he's an angry man, and I'm far from it. Until they really hear me angry and the walls are reverberating, then they know, oh, okay, this is just his passion, he's not angry. But it's just I don't mean in the delivery, and sometimes I know, yes, in the delivery that passion is important, right? But in the words you selected to use, there's the powerful messages said there without anger is what I was trying to get at. I love your choice of words, the kindness, but you're getting that powerful message through. Really loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely agree as well that there is like moments where anger and like passion and stuff are like needed, especially as things kind of like get worse and worse. So like I definitely agree that that is needed in some cases too as well. But I do also appreciate what you said about like seeing the message between my words and everything like that. So thank you for that.
And don't get me wrong, I've got no problem with anger because that's a natural human emotion, and people are saying, Giles, calm the hell down, because I've got no problem with anger at all. But because I think as long as it's a controlled anger, it's how you control and manage and exert that anger is what's important, right?
Yeah.
And good writers do that well, because the anger, the use. So Mr. Witts, I don't know if you've heard of Mr. Witts before.
I don't think I have.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to give you Mr. Witts' information.
Okay.
Mr. Witts has the perfect way of blending that anger, the frustration, and the pain, the agony of a story or of an experience, and putting it in a metaphor that is unmistakable and undeniable. Like, this is what I mean. This is exactly how it feels. Do you feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And I love hearing work like that. Here, Suleiman. There's a what's it called? A Muslim poet, and he was on Def Poetry Jam.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I know the last name is Suleiman. I'll find it and I'll send him to you.
Oh yeah.
And he, remember, one of his lines, I am not angry, I am anger. I am not dangerous, I am danger. That, like, there is a place for that, and there is a time for it. Not like, okay, so sit down, it's not time to be angry. It's like, okay, this is exactly how I feel right now. This is the emotion that I feel right now. And this is the emotion that I'm sharing. When I wasn't angry and I was talking softly and trying to be diplomatic, you were not hearing me. When I was passionate, you called it anger. Well, right now I am angry.
Right.
And ooh, I love all of those poems. I love the way that you presented, but I also love to hear passion, because it's like, after being silenced for so long, I am happy that it comes out in poetry and not in fists and in guns and in stones.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you there. So please, yes, send that to me when you get a chance. I would love to like read it or listen to it.
You would love them, both of them. You'd love them.
Mr. Witts, he's just a lovely person, and his poetry is very strong messages and very real messages. I think you'll connect really well with him.
Yes. So there's some people that when I think of them, they make me smile.
Yeah.
And Mr. Witts and Corey Riots are two of them. When I think of them, when I talk about them, it makes me smile. They're genuine, they're passionate, they can deliver a love poem and a poem on injustice with the same favor. So yeah. And I like sharing them too.
I mean, I gotta hear them now. Like,
but before that, I know Rainier wants to hear another piece from you.
Definitely. I want to just keep hearing more and more of your work, man.
Thank you.
On your social media page, do you post a lot of your poems, or where do people find your poems?
So I used to post a lot more between here and between Instagram and like Twitter. Those were the two places that I posted my poems. But I stopped doing that lately because Now I'm trying to get more like published. And so like a lot of like publishing places, like even if you post them online in a blog or anything, they usually don't like take them. So I've been like, well, one, I haven't written that many poems lately that I feel like are ready to kind of like put out there, but also two, I want to try to like get more of my work sort of like published within certain like presses and everything like that, just to sort of like do that. But I will still like post the occasional poem either on Instagram, maybe in a story, or on Twitter occasionally. So if you want potentially more poetry, you can follow my Instagram.
That's great. All right.
Yeah, go ahead and bring up another one.
Or you can
This
always come to Tampa and see him on Sundays at First Sundays with Grassroots Carver House with Nathan Truly, or First Sundays with Grow House, or Painting with Words in Sarasota every third Saturday.
Yes, all of those things Gemini said. You can catch me at reading some poetry.
I think I'll have to get my butt down to Sarasota area. Tampa.
Right. Come on down to Sarasota. The water's nice, you know.
It's beautiful.
All right. So this one was a poem I wrote last year when my grandmother, she passed away last October. So to sort of like help sort of like cope with that a little bit, I wrote this poem sort of in dedication to her, and it's very short, but yeah, I'll go ahead and read it. The toaster oven ticks down. Inside the red room, skin sizzles, a drumstick covered in black pepper and salt crystals. A screen door swings open, mosquitoes in muggy air sneak in, sweat and dirt run down the side of your face, a smile with missing canines greets me. Te quiero mucho rings in my head like church bells. Icy air now fills my cluttered living room. The toaster oven beeped a lifetime ago. I've forgotten what the drumstick tastes like.
Firstly, my sincere condolences for the loss of your grandmother. October last year was pretty recent, just over a year ago.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And the piece, I love things about like things we write about our parents. We got one sort of relationship with them, and they have a depth, and because at the end of the day we stem from them, we were born from them. But I like pieces that relate to the parental generation, because I know my own mum, you know, like when my son was born, for example, plus my two step kids, things that she would discipline us about, she says, oh, that's fine, let him be. And I'm going, hang on, where did the rules change from me to him, right? And because we've got a different relationship with our grandparents, right? As grandparents, we have a different relationship with our grandchildren. Things that we were responsible for, directly responsible for our own children. But then the grandchildren, it's just like, oh well, that there's that other layer between. So now we can all the rules that apply to us as parents when we were parents to our children. Change when we're grandparents to our kids, right? Oh, yeah, everything goes. So, and I think the points you captured there, you know, the things are the things that a grandchild does remember, and you captured that so well, you know, in the things that we miss about grandparents, you know.
Yeah.
Being spoiled just a little bit.
Sorry?
I'm sorry?
Being spoiled just a little bit by the grandparents.
Yeah. That was great, you know. She would always, you know, like I kind of like said in the poem, well, because like my parents, they worked until like 6 or 7 usually, and I would get out of school you know, earlier than that, around like 2, 3. So like I would go to my grandmother's house to like just spend the afternoon until my parents got home from work, and they would pick me up. And so like yeah, it was just she would spoil me with like a bunch of food every time, like fresh cooked food every time I would go there. And then even after I like started going to college or whatever, she would always like sneak me like 20s and stuff and be like, "Don't tell your parents I gave this to you." So yeah, she spoiled me.
But that was beautiful, though. That's the so we have a different type of bond with our grandparents than we do with our parents. For those people who do have it, and for even for those who believe that they were somehow robbed, that they did not have a relationship with their parents, they got twice the amount of love, because with the grandparent doubling both as the parent and still being the grandparent, it was still not the same. You still got that, those memories. You still, especially from that generation, the way things were done. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
My grandmother was not as affectionate as I was. Yeah, she was not that affectionate. A little bit, and not as.
Yeah.
My great grandmother had a sewing box that she put candy in underneath, and she'd have us read like a Bible verse and then take a piece of candy afterward. So she made up for my grandmother not being so lovable at times.
That's great. Oh, that's so heartwarming.
But the last line that you stated, was it that I can't taste the chicken, or that it doesn't taste?
Yeah. I've forgotten what the drumstick tastes like.
I've forgotten what the drumstick tastes like. It's almost like a sense of like deep loss. Trying to hold on to memories and feeling like they're slipping away.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually glad you mentioned that, because it's like that was the feeling I was trying to capture with that. Yeah. You know,
the best job in the world is being a grandparent.
I believe it.
I'm not there yet. Don't wish that on me. I'm not there. Be a little while. But the one thing that we don't realize, whatever is shared is never lost.
Yeah.
Somewhere in your Rolodex, you have the recipe for that blasted chicken. And I'm going to be around you long enough so I can taste it, because you're going to be cooking one day and you're like, this tastes familiar.
Wait a minute, hold up.
And what did that do?
Yeah, so I don't know how much time we have left or anything, but I can read like one more if needed.
No, look, since we didn't start, we've only been going for just over an hour, and now because it's my Saturday, here we are. We've got plenty of time. We can go for another even 45 minutes. You're welcome to, love to hear more and more. I mean, I'm enjoying your pieces, so
you.
Happy to poetry and any discussions. We've got, another 45 minutes to an hour. We can go for another 45 minutes even,
The dictator, the queen knows what she's talking about. Alex is amazing. I told you. Now you want to have my friends. Have him. He's not going to move to Australia with you, Rainier.
Yeah, man, I got like 3 more years in this program, man. You know, it's gonna be a bit. I'm in Tampa for a little bit. But you're welcome to come here. You know, come see Sarasota.
Sure.
I'm contemplating a trip, but I've got to put in a few insurance policies in place, because there's a certain fiend that's threatening to attack me at the airport and all this stuff, chop me in the road and do all these kinds of nice stuff to me. So I've really got to work out some security detail and some insurance policies and so forth.
You see, when people talk too much, and I already said, like, you're going to get them hit in the throat, and they keep asking for it. You can put all the insurance policies that you like. And when you get to the airport, as soon as you go down, I'll fall down right next to you, and I'll pretend that some imaginary person hit us both in the throat. What about that?
Ah, look, I think I need a good security detail. Anyway, I might have to come in incognito or something, and I'll reach out to yourself and Charles Hines and Onyx, and I'll just sneak me into the territory.
Okay.
Undercover. So so it's amazing how people come across, like, oh, Mama Gemini, just everybody's friend, but there's a savage side lurking beneath there, I tell you. Yeah.
You call me, okay, you see, name calling is not a good way to get on my good side. It's not.
I will say though, Gemini, you are right. The guests that you've introduced to this show Alexander for one, Onyx to God, Charles Hines, they've been nothing short of amazing. They really have.
I know.
And
I didn't coerce. I did not bribe, and I didn't threaten any of them. I mean, if I haven't threatened any of the people that I'm around, and you feel threatened, I think the problem might be with you.
Well, one thing that Alexander and Charles and Onyx to God have in common is they're all young. So maybe you look at that maternal figure and you harness the energies, but me being a older, mature gentleman, maybe you just want to vent that aggression just towards me, or maybe you just don't like Australians, maybe, I don't know.
Zooks is really nice, and so is Angela. I don't know what you're talking about. I have a problem with
this is my co-host on the show, Alexander. You see what a weekly trauma I have to go through. So tell me,
I'm loving the banter, to be honest. It's fantastic.
Alex, I don't know what's wrong with him. I give great hugs, and I'm a lovely person until I'm speaking with that Australian right there. Just that Australian, nobody else.
I don't know what you did, man. I don't.
Exactly. He had to have done something. Everybody knows he had to have done something. Because I'm not sweet, Alex. Not sweet.
I think it must be some past life karma.
Maybe.
Maybe I started chicken or something in another life or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I took your last drumstick off your plate or something like that, and you just.
You know what? You see, I'm not going to say anything else. I'm just going to let Alex share a poem, and I'm going to go ahead and plot for later.
So,
all right.
Alexander, before you go to the next piece, tell me, you've started your MFA this August gone?
Yes, I started this August. Is that what you were asking? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's only got a couple more years off that. Is that correct?
Yeah. It's a 3-year program, so it won't finish until 2026, with the hopefully book-length thesis at the end of it, so hopefully to get published by the time I'm done. So we'll see. Probably most likely will be a collection of poetry of some sort. Also, 1 second, I'm just going to turn on a light real quick because it got real dark. So just give me 1 sec. I'm very sorry.
Don't be apologetic. We've got time. Because it's my day now, we've got all the time in the world.
Thank you.
Look who's the dictator now.
Oh, I was just being extended.
Hospital, I know. Huh?
This is funny. The Queen is on top today. Normally I'm on the top of the screen, and this is all hail the Queen.
Oh, hell. You know what, Rainier?
I have shared the cover photo and the caption and all via email to you.
Okay.
That's right. Okay.
Let there be light, said the blind man.
Via email?
There we go. That's better.
Well, I'm on the phone here. I just sent it.
Okay. So let me find another piece real quick. This one is also one that this is a newer one that I've written. And I actually performed it relatively recently. It was one where, so sort of like, the idea behind it is I was supposed to create a life story, but I was only supposed to use 3-word sentences, and it could only be 250 words. So it had like restrictions with it, but I really did sort of enjoy sort of like the constraints that we had with this piece, because I don't know, I feel like it turned out pretty well. So like I said, each sentence is just 3 words long, but I hope you enjoy it. This one is called Warm Me Up. The water's cold, salt coats tongue, father hugs me, waves pull away, seashells scrape feet, blood drenches sand, father hugs me. His liver ticks, but he laughs. We watch stars, they all flicker, yellow eyes blink, hearts are offbeat, we are alive. Father is cold, bed becomes tomb, mother hugs me, gravity pulls tears, father's hourglass empties. Voices go unheard. Mother hugs me. Doors keep opening. I shut them. Car is running. Car is empty. The moon sets. Another day blooms. We are numb. You look bored. Thanks. I'm bored. I am cold. Eyes are darting. My chest tightens. Bird bath becomes blurry. I shove mother. I run away. My chest tightens. Leave me alone. Sun reaches apex. Sweat absorbs tears. Uncle grabs me. Calloused hand squeezes. Rocking chair rocks. Words escape ears. Air conditioner blares. I am underwater. The water's cold. Again. Manatees gather round. Girlfriend hugs me. Manatees submerge. The girlfriend walks away. Eyeballs are red. Girlfriend hugs me. Glass bottle falls. Girlfriend walks away. Shards reflect light. Light goes out. Grandmother rejoins Earth. Life's a cycle. I keep running. You look tired. Thanks. I'm tired. Feet are cold. I move forward. I hug myself. I will write. Grad school app sent. Now I wait. I hug myself. I am rejected. I am confused. I am accepted. I am confused. My heart aches. My heart beats. I am moving. I am breathing. I am drowning. My leg shakes. My fingers freeze. I am warm. I am alive. So I write.
Wow, wow, wow.
Sorry, I messed up a couple lines there, but you know.
That was beautiful.
Keeping the 3-word sentences, I never even thought about that. That's a good challenge to set a writer. But I think you found the right. It's like you've got budgeting a meal, right? It's like you're trying to divide up a meal among so many mouths. And I think you did it so well, because the choice of words has to be, to get a message, to deliver that message, to get the points across, you got to be very succinct with your choice of words. And you did brilliantly. Every one of those lines, you really, when you're on a tight budget,
right.
You did an amazing job with that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
For me, this is, I think, the second time I've heard this poem.
Mm-hmm.
And each time I feel like I hold my breath. Because when you read the first time, the tempo, you sped up the tempo.
Mm-hmm.
And you may not have realized that you were speeding up the tempo.
Yeah.
It felt like it was just natural, like breathing, and then kind of heavier breathing and heavier breathing. It just sped up by itself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why you kind of missed a couple of words, because you were trying to slow down.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah, that first time I think I performed it better. But but yeah, this time I tripped up on some of the words here and there because yeah, I was trying to slow it down a little bit.
Don't do that. Okay. So you said that you're learning about performing.
Yeah.
A poem tells you how it wants to be performed.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you write a poem, and then when you go to perform it, you end up saying a different word, or you end up saying a line out of order. That's because that is the natural flow of the poem.
Mm-hmm.
So the next time that happens, don't stop yourself.
Just keep going.
Just let it flow out of you. Let it unfold. Let it flow out of you. Because I heard it. Because you were trying to slow it down.
Yeah, that's on me, you know, and that's what that's what I was saying earlier, you know. I'm still learning, you know, so I appreciate that piece of advice though. Yeah, just kind of let it rock, just kind of keep going.
And even with that, it did not take away from the feelings that the poem was conveying. It didn't take away from the message of it, because it was like, and whenever you perform, do not apologize. With a poem like that, if you're performing in front of someone, in front of a crowd, of a group, it could be assumed that the stumble was part of the poem, or it's part of the emotion that the poem brings out of you.
Yeah.
And so just let it, wherever the chips fall, just let them fall.
I will keep that advice in mind. Yeah, just roll with it, just keep going, make sure the message doesn't sort of like, because the message will still get across. So yes, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
And beautiful, very positive, and the comments in that are, you know, just nothing but praise for that piece, or all your pieces so far. And in terms of freestyling and delivery, I really admire Gemini's sort of deliveries, and I've got another live that starts at 10 p.m. EST. It's an open mic, and Gemini is frequent there, and her delivery is amazing, and her freestyle is second to none.
It's not about me. It's about Alex. Hi, Alex. Hi.
No,
something.
but it is.
I'm more than happy to share the space, you know.
See, this is the second time you betrayed me. The first time was when you came on and say, "Oh, she only let me do one piece." You know, I'm going to see you soon, right?
Yeah, I'm preparing myself for that moment.
Protect your throat. Protect your throat.
What I was get to was that I think, you know, the advice that you give, it's valid, you know, like and coming from somebody like you, I think that's great, you know. It's because you do well. It's so yeah, but and
I love poetry. And I love
never
people.
apologize for, you know, just keep going, you know. There's no need to apologize. I mean, stuff that I've recited for and written and recited many times, I still sometimes on a live performance I change it. It just comes, and the mind is, and I'm looking at the words, and then I'll say something else. So yeah, maybe I change the poem. A bit hard when I published it, but maybe
you can always do a re-release, and that's the thing. Like, I haven't published anything yet, and like, I'm afraid that when I go to perform it, something else is going to come out. So far, thank you for everyone who's joined. This is Alex Rivera. Please go ahead and follow Alex. You have him up top. If you hit the drop down box, follow him to see where he's going to be, to hear more of his work. Follow him on TikTok as well, because he posts some of his poetry on TikTok. And if
Twitter, not TikTok. I'm not on TikTok.
I thought you said you were on TikTok.
No, Twitter and Instagram, but just do Instagram, because Twitter is kind of a dying social media platform right now. So I don't really post much over there right now, anyways.
Okay, so correction, not TikTok, Twitter, but follow him on Instagram so you can find out where he's going to be. And if you follow me already, you know, if I see him, I'm going to be posting him anyway. Like a proud mother, I'm just there, just
there, right?
I can't help it. Like, for me, for poets, when you're performing, sometimes you just don't think about recording it. You don't think about, how I call it, getting a memory of that. Apart from judging yourself, which you're not supposed to do, critiquing yourself concerning your performance, or seeing how it comes off in the reactions, hearing the reactions that you just cannot hear. You're in a tunnel when you're performing. So you really can't hear. If people say, ooh, or like, oh, it's like, dang, or they snap it. Sometimes you don't hear it because you're in a tunnel. When you get that recording, then you hear people's reactions, and it's not dead silence as you thought it was.
That's true. Because like that very much speaks to my experience. Because like, yeah, when I'm performing up there, I'm just like really just focused on like making sure I'm saying the right words and everything like that. So I'm not really too cognizant about like everything that everyone is saying. So like when I watch footage back, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what they were saying.
Because everything sounds the same standing up there. It's like, okay, get out of my head. I need to go ahead and get this poem out. I need to get this poem out.
So I guess the next 3 years you're going to be pretty busy with the MFA that you just started. But in that time, what's next? What are you going to be able to fit in? What's next in your writing journey or your performance?
I mean, as I kind of like continue moving forward in this program and just in life in general, I do want to continue like getting out there, meeting more people, performing, seeing other people perform, connecting with people in that way. I've never considered myself like a slam poet by any measure, but I would like to give it a try one day. We'll see how that goes. But because that is an entirely different skill set. It's adjacent to like, you know, the written poetry that I've been doing, and there are many skills that can apply to it, but it's going to be something I'm going to have to like practice, and I feel just like sort of like, kind of like get out there to do in order to kind of like get better. So I hope to do that, I'm making it a goal for like next year, while I continue to work through and refine my poetry, my writing, in this program too. So those are like my steps, and then hopefully, by the end of this 3-year program, I'll have something substantial that I can like publish out into the world as well. So like those are like my goals for the moment.
Okay, so I'm excited because number one, Alex, to slam, you don't have to be a slam poet. My first attempt at slamming was and I did it with black on black rhyme. If you know anything about black rhyme, the people that were in there, and Curtis was on there as well. Let's just say I did not place after the first round. I was so nervous going up there. I was just shaking. The same way one of our other friends shake when she's there. That was me, just shaking the entire time. But doing that was basically for me to step out of my comfort zone. And I still don't like competing now. But I love what slam brings out of me. And I love being in that environment, well, at least in Girl House's environment with slam, and hearing the other poets and seeing them, the nervousness, the nerves before getting up on the stage, and then the sigh of relief, or I could have done that better after they got off the stage, and just being there for them before and after, and cheering them on during. It's the slam is a whole culture. So it's not just going up there and trying to win. You are your own competition. You're your first competition when you go up there, because you'll second guess yourself. You'll do all those things, and like, just let it flow. Let it flow. I can't wait. Well, I'm sorry.
Also, you're in the company of some great slam poets there, right? You got Onyx, you got Charles Hines there, so you got a lot of people out there who are great, and I'm sure my interactions with them, they come across as very accommodating and helpful and kind people. So I'm sure you've got a lot of people to help you on that journey to get you started. So all the best in that too. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Charles will fix your poem so you can slam against him and beat him.
Okay.
That type of he can't help it. He will help you get better to compete against him.
Yeah.
Like, amazing.
Yeah. All right.
That's a true, genuine heart, isn't it? You know. And Charles came across in his interview, came across exactly that way. You know, that authenticity and this, right? That's a very key thing to me in life, because in my work and things like that, I've come across people that they think that knowledge is power. They think if you've got to come to me and ask me something, that makes me powerful, which is rubbish, right? To me, whatever's in my head, I'm happy to share, because then if I'm not there, the projects will go on. You know what I mean? As I say to people, I get hit by a tram and don't turn up tomorrow, I've empowered you as a team to be functional and perform, right? And that's how anything but you do meet a majority of people that they like to hang on to knowledge, thinking that it makes them more powerful. And that's the most ridiculous sort of thought, as far as I'm concerned. So that's very highly of Charles, and wish you all the best in that. But more importantly, now, you said at the end of it, you're hoping to publish, to come out with like a thesis which can be publicized there. I'd certainly like to keep abreast of that journey and keep abreast of it. So, I mean, I do follow you on Instagram. So when I do see any posts there, I'll certainly keep abreast of it. And
appreciate that.
Miss Fox here might send me some recordings of some of your live performances until I find the strength and courage to venture across Florida, Tampa, Florida, and Sarasota until I've got to get some Dutch courage there for that still. But,
I believe in you. I think you can do it. You got this.
You're stupid. I can't. Really? Like, if you would just stop saying the stuff that you've been saying, like call me a dictator and the queen is on top. If you just stop saying some of those stuff and talking about how short my arms are and it's just all of those things. Just if you just stop. That's all I'm
You're lucky I don't share publicly some of your other little fears. You know, those little furry little cute things that jump across the street.
I think you're sharing some of those fears now, like.
Okay.
So,
you remember the Geico squirrel commercials, Alex?
Yeah.
The squirrels here are just like that. See, Alex agrees with me. So it's not that I have a fear of squirrels. I have an awareness of squirrels when they're around me. And I wear dresses all the time, so it's only logical to have an awareness of something that might crawl onto my ankle where I can't see it because I can't see my own ankles. Okay? And then it gets lost up under there. Like, really?
You're not going to sell me this. You're talking to a guy who used to have them as pets and have them
That was in Sri Lanka. That was not here in the United States. Everything in the United States is gangster. The ducks are gangster because one just chased me today. And like when we got in the car on the other side of the park, the little bugger was over by the car.
That's true. She's not lying. She's not lying.
The only time we get chased here by ducks and swans are when they've got young.
No,
right? So springtime.
He was by himself. He was by himself. And he followed us. My daughter left me. She ran and she left me to fend for myself in a dress. I was wearing this dress.
You better tell the people the second side of the story.
What second side of the story? You see, she's off in the background.
I hear her. Yeah.
I was just taking a few pictures in my dress and the dust in my dress, and the dog started chasing me. Anyway, excuse me, I have the show that I need.
My villain origin.
See what I'm dealing with? I have them here, and then I have him all the way in Australia.
You're dealing with a lot.
Yes,
I admit
ma'am.
you're going through a lot.
Thank you so much for empathizing with me.
Mhm.
Alexander,
I'm gonna need an extra hug when I get to my open mics.
All right,
I
got you.
If you've got to write a freestyle piece as part of your studies, Alexander, can you write a piece about the plot of this poor friend of ours who gets chased by ducks and attacked by squirrels and ganged up
I got it.
by
Yeah,
children and Australians, and oh my God, my heart's I'm ready to start crying here. It's just, oh Lord, behold.
I got you. I can write that for you, and I can send that your way. I got you.
The title will be "When Nature Attacks Down Under."
That's a good title, actually.
I didn't think that one through. I did not think that one through. I did.
I'm staying right at this one. Yeah.
Is this the way your shows usually go?
I used to think that our show was a PG, PG-13, suitable for kids. But clearly now I've got a question. See, one day I'm not running the show, and see things go askew if
go off the rails.
Off the rails totally. Alexander, to say that it has been a pleasure to meet you is a understatement. I really, I study people, and in this short interaction of this hour and a half or whatever, a couple of hours that we've been, I see a very authentic person, a very balanced individual, a person who's not wrapped up in thinking they got all the answers. The very fact that you're very open to, and I think if you keep an open mind, and that, as I say to my son, the day I stop learning is the day I stop consuming oxygen and I start fertilizing daisies. Until that last day, I'll keep learning, and that's my mindset. And it's very refreshing to hear your comments where you reach out to people. You're always, even at lives, and you're open to learning. You're not wrapped up thinking, yes, I've got my recipe nailed shut. That is going to show, that is the first ingredient of becoming successful in whatever you do, whether it's writing, whether it's just life, whether it's parenting, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Thank
and
you.
It's refreshing to meet somebody like you and to have this discussion. I've really enjoyed it immensely. And your poetry will speak for itself. It's just been absolutely brilliant.
Gonna make me cry, man. Like,
no, I don't. One thing I don't, as I say to people, I don't blow wind up anybody's butt. Right? If I say something, I mean it, and that's good or bad. Mm-hmm. What's on my mind, I don't filter. What's in my mind comes straight out of my mouth. I mean, I mean that totally from my heart and in every sense of my authenticity. It really is. It really is. And it's these sort of mindsets that can drive change, right? Mm-hmm. Ongoing.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I genuinely do appreciate your words, and I genuinely appreciate both of you for having me on your show. This was great. I loved this whole chat and everything. So again, just thank you so much. And yeah, I hope to kind of like keep getting out there, keep connecting with different people, expanding my poetry, hearing other people's, and yeah, just living life.
And I don't think that this is one soft pass. We would be more than happy to have you back at a later date as well, Alex. I've really enjoyed this chat, and I look forward to meeting you in person. I will find the courage to get past certain barriers, and I will find my way down.
I know you can do it. I know you can make it here. And, if need be, I can meet you at the airport too, so you have like a bit of safety net. We can figure it out.
Really, Alex?
This is where See, she's been sort of thinking, oh, I'm introducing you to all my friends, poets and all down there. But what I'm secretly doing is I'm building my extensive network there. I've got Charles Hines now, I've got Onyx to God now, I've got Alexander, and I'm slowly building my protective network here. So there's method to my madness.
Yeah.
But no,
Clever man.
See, this is
up there's
anyway,
Anyway,
ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to Rainier, the Australian, say some things about me that is not true. But apart from that, you have listened to and enjoyed the poetry of Alexander Rivera. Alex is an amazing poet. He's an amazing writer, and he's local here to Tampa Bay. So if you are in Tampa, follow his page, follow Grow House Tampa. You can follow my page, and you'll find the spots that he's usually at and frequenting. Reach out to this poet, let him know how you enjoyed his work after you've listened to this live, and put on your post notifications so that when we come on next time, you don't miss it. Renee, do you have, oh, yes, and Alex, Mr. Witz followed you.
We can introduce Alex to Mr.
Yes.
Stay there.
No, Mr. Oh,
Do you want to pick up Witz and introduce him to Alex? He's in the room.
I don't know, Mr. Witz is working. Oh,
He's in the room. You can, if he can always decline the invitation. You would love Mr. Witz, Alexander. You'd really, I think it'll be a great connection for you.
Mr. Witz, send a request. I send an invite. So,
Just a quick hi, just
Yeah.
an introduction, and it's nice to meet people on the screen, right?
like dragging people up on screen. I don't like dragging people up on screen.
Oh, you'll get over it.
So, Mr. Witz, it may not be in a position to accept right now.
That is perfectly okay.
So check his page out. He is in, I think, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So Mr. Witz and Coach Josh Smalls, they're brothers.
Okay.
They do performance together and separate. Absolutely love their work, and they're part of Ain't Right Tribe, and I'm part of the Ain't Right Tribe out of North Carolina as well. So they're amazing. They're amazing.
Honestly, that's a really good group, Alexander. You'd love the people there, like Mr. Witz and Gifted Johnson are just amazing people, and you love the group there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll definitely check them out. So thank you for that connection. See, building connections every day. You love to see it.
Yeah, he's
Well,
trying to build a protective barrier. That's not gonna work. That's okay. That's okay. I'll go in and hug everybody, and I'll hug you as well.
I wish you all the very best, Alexander, with everything, not just your studies, with your writing, with your studies, with life and everything. I wish you all the very best, my friend, and it truly has been a pleasure and an honor to meet you today. It really has.
I appreciate that. Again, thank you so much for having me, and yeah, hope to talk with you both, soon. I mean, I'll see Gemini soon,
Yeah.
most likely, but if you ever come down to Sarasota, I got you, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Means a lot. I feel I can sleep more easy, and on my, on the journey over there. It's
Oh
really good.
gosh. Really.
And always,
All right.
as always, Gemini, thank you. It's always a pleasure to host this show with you. Thank you very much.
Likewise, thank you. Gentlemen, have yourselves an absolutely wonderful evening. Renee, have yourself a wonderful Saturday. And if you are listening to this after the fact, please follow Alex Rivera. Alex, what is your Instagram again, love?
It's A River A Stone. That's the easiest way to say it. So you can follow me there. Click my name on here somewhere. It'll most likely be there. And yeah, like I said earlier, I post poetry sometimes, not lately, but if other people are recording me and stuff like that, it'll also just be up on my page too. If I ever, once I do like other live performances and stuff like that. So you can see some of my work that way.
Awesome. And I'll be adding you to as a collaborator to this live when I post it. I'll also be adding Rainier as when I post it. I don't want to, but I mean, it's a co-host and we do the show together. And like I said it already, so I guess I have to now. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for staying with us and for listening. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Have yourselves a wonderful night.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, my friend. See you, Gemini. Bye.
Bye.